44% of homeowners with a mortgage can't sell. About 44% of homeowners with mortgages can't afford to sell their homes, according to a recent blog post from real estate company Zillow. So it says despite a recovery in prices, over a quarter of homeowners with mortgage loans still owe more than their homes are worth. But another 18% of homeowners with mortgages, while not technically underwater, likely do not have enough equity to afford them to move. 43% of homeowners have less than 20% equity in their homes. That makes it hard for them to move or trade up, given the considerable costs involving in buying and selling a home, including the cost of a down payment for the next mortgage. Wells Fargo forecloses on homeowner for making early mortgage payments. So it says here that a Florida family man who not only made his mortgage payments on time but made payments early faces foreclosure. The explanation for the initiation by Wells Fargo is nothing short of amazing and offers a sad commentary on how little has changed despite the 2008 financial wealth consolidation operation. So apparently he did everything that he was told to do as far as the agreement. The bank told the news siled or didn't follow the modification guidelines because he paid early and sometimes his payments were sent one on top of the other. Sears turning shuttered stores into data centers, says will blinking blue lights of servers soon fill the aisles that previously offered the blue light special. Sears Holdings has formed a new unit to market space from former Sears and Kmart retail stores as home for data centers, disaster recovery space, i.e. FEMA camps maybe, and wireless towers. So that's, it's all bad news really. Spy centers, FEMA camp centers, and more Wi-Fi. So they hope to convert retail icons of the 20th century into internet infrastructure to power the 21st century digital economy. They're one of the largest retail estate portfolios in the country with 3,200 properties spanning 25 million square feet of space. So it says here dozens of Sears and Kmart stores have been closed over the recent years. 40% of Americans felt pain of sequester. Nearly 4 in 10 Americans have felt the pain of automatic spending cuts, according to a poll released on Friday. Most Americans across the political spectrum disapprove the cuts. 59% of Democrats and 54 Republicans and 58 of independents oppose sequestration. Says the cuts seem to be having more of an impact than in past months. The 9/11 dispatcher tells woman about to be raped that there are no cops to help her due to budget cuts. So Crypticon says next time dial 357 Magnum. An Oregon woman was told by a 9/11 dispatcher that authorities wouldn't be able to help her as her ex-boyfriend broke into her place because of budget cuts. So this is weird because we're just talking about the Oregon police, right? Saying that they don't have anything to do. Maybe this is proof, or maybe this is just propaganda so they get more money. But either way, you should arm yourself and don't rely on the cops to protect you or your property. So a report the unidentified woman called 9/11 during a weekend in August 2012. Says when a man was breaking in her place. Says her call was forwarded to Oregon State Police because of layoffs at the county sheriff's office. Only allows the department to be open Monday through Friday. Oh, I don't have anybody to send out there, the dispatcher told them woman. Obviously if he comes inside the residence and assaults you, can you ask him to go away? Do you know if he's intoxicated or anything? Once again, it's unfortunate you guys don't have any law enforcement out there, the dispatcher said. The woman responded, yeah, it doesn't matter. If he gets in the house, I'm done. Report 1 in 9 U.S. bridges structurally deficient. The bridge collapse in Washington comes days after a new report released by the American Society of Engineers, which called 1 in 9 bridges in the country structurally deficient. It should be noted that this bridge that did collapse was not classified as structurally deficient. Missouri got a C-. It says here 3,500 out of the 24,000 bridges in Missouri are considered structurally deficient, and 3,300 out of 24,000 bridges in Missouri are considered functionally obsolete. Illinois received a C+. For those of you who have not seen the first video, my website is Global Government News, GGNonline.com. There's a poll up here that you can check out about the recent tornado and the effects of aerosol spraying, or what people call chemtrails, in your area. So far, 60% said yes. Prior to the tornado, they received a more significant level of aerosol spraying, followed by 40% saying not sure. So I have a news archive over here you can check out. It goes all the way back to 2009. All right, I'm ready. I'm just going to skip this because it's what I call a feature article, which is just humongous, gargantuan paragraphs. That's not really conducive to the reports that I do, the way I do them. So you can go in there and check it out. Like I said, links should be posted, although in the future I may not always do the links. So just to throw it out there, because, I mean, you can just type the headline in a Google search if you really want to see it. But for those that don't want to watch the videos and check out the links, that's why I do it. Plus for a reference for myself. But, my right wrist is pretty much burnt out from doing this for 4 years, and I have to, like, switch hands with my mouse, and I'm wearing, like, braces all the time, those things. So, I mean, it's taken a toll on me, and I don't know how long I'll be able to keep providing those links for, so. But the title of that was How America Became a Third World Country. You can go in there and check it out. It is. It's just a rotting corpse, I think. Nikkei 225 down 7.32%. Wall Street followed Europe in a broad sell-off following a 7.3% overnight plunge in Japan's stock market. So, says the drop was reportedly the worst percentage since the earthquake in 2011. European Union politicians earn up to 740% more than average citizen, enjoy free haircuts and gallons of petrol. Their salaries cost 137 million pounds a month, but do not include allowances. 740% more than the average French citizen. European Union budget fraud may be more than 4 billion, which is 12 times higher than previous figure. Officials failed to give realistic assessment of how much money lost. So, researching agricultural subsidies, i.e. Monsanto, payments for projects in poorest countries, i.e. Planned Parenthood and eugenics, and extracting their resources, bribery, corruption, cigarette smuggling are major reasons for massive loss. A Nobel laureate, Edmund Phelps, warns against EU as Iceland drops bid. So it warned against the dangers of European Union membership as Iceland became the latest nation to question the sense of affiliation with the bloc, mired in the economic crisis. Iceland's new government said yesterday will halt its EU bid and drop the previous coalition's goal of Euro adoption. G8 summit police costs about £50 million, so policing and security costs for the G8 conference next month are running at an estimated £50 million. Yeah, it's taxpayers are going to basically fund these people who don't represent you, who are way overpaid to not represent you, and basically to continue the degradation of your economy and your society. Delinquent student loans hit record 30% of 20 to 24-year-olds are unemployed and not in school. The bank's lobbyists helped in drafting financial bills. It says the lobbyists are not leaving it to lawmakers to draft legislation that softens financial regulations. Instead, the lobbyists are helping to write it themselves. So that's pretty interesting. Kind of like the Obamacare written by, insurance companies. One bill that sailed through the House Financial Service Committee this month over the objections of the Treasury Department was essentially Citigroup's, according to emails reviewed by the New York Times. The bill would exempt broad swaths of trades from new regulation. This is kind of funny. In a sign of Wall Street's resurgent influence in Washington. As if it actually left. French minister says IMF boss Christine Lagarde must resign if she is charged in connection with £270 million fraud and embezzlement scam. She denies any wrongdoing, and lawyer said she expects to be dismissed. Well, she probably will if she served the system well. The weather is getting more expensive. Oklahoma tornado is just the latest billion-dollar disaster. It's supposed to make basically top $2 billion in damages. It says here that it's the latest member of a rapidly growing billion-dollar weather disaster club. In a recent study, climate scientists found that billion-dollar-plus disasters, including Hurricane Sandy and Irene, 2011 Texas wildfires, are happening more and more frequently, and quantified that frequency. It's increasing at the rate of 4.8% each year. So it says here it doesn't necessarily mean that we're seeing more instances of extreme weather, just that the extreme weather that we're seeing has better aim, striking more populated areas. And what do you think this is? Just like the spraying over large populated areas. It's for eugenics, and it's like I said, the side effect of that is what? Is the storms. I think sometimes there are weather wars, different countries maybe buzzing each other, causing earthquakes and huge hurricanes, such as Japan or the drought in Russia, Hurricane Katrina. You'll have stuff where it's just the side effect. The spraying is for the eugenics and mind control, controlling the masses. And then the other, of course, is it's just a side effect of the spraying, which is going to be rain and clouds and stuff like that. But insurance companies, I mean, I don't know if they like this. I mean, because, again, they don't actually make the payouts. You know, a lot of times they don't even make the payouts. They taking all this money, and then when it's time to pay out, they don't. So, like I said, it's a scam. But that's not my point. My point is I remember seeing or hearing on a local news a couple of years ago when I was closer to Chicago, and they were talking about how Chicago was, you know, this is the new weather, the new climate of Chicago. It's going to be, storms are going to be more intense. And then, of course, they blamed it on climate change. So, but they didn't mention chemtrails. So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, eventually, hopefully, people are able to sue, get a class action lawsuit. You know, just a bunch of people that have had their businesses, their properties, their livelihoods ruined by this modifying the weather. You know, I think it's a long way down the road, but still, I mean, there's plenty of lawsuits to be had for the spraying of chemicals, what it's doing to people's farms, what it's doing to their health. You know, it's pretty serious stuff. So they can only spout this BS about, oh, we're thinking about it down the road about geoengineering, as they're spraying already, have been for the last 20 years. They're thinking about calling for it, you know. So that just goes to show how far off people are from actually getting some kind of restitution. Scientists warn that Earth faces severe water shortages within a generation. So a majority of people on Earth will face severe water shortages with a generation or two. Pollution and waste continues unabated, scientists warn. So yeah, see, the problem is the minority of people on Earth are the ones that are probably causing this. We're just bystanders, spectators of this hellhole on Earth, and but the majority of the people will suffer for it. You could be rest assured, like the Bushes, who had, you know, I remember hearing they own aquifers in South America. I'm sure that other royalties and elites do as well, own their own water sources and that. The Colorado River, the High Plains Aquifer, and the entire west half of the United States are rapidly drying up. Of course, you have different reasons for it. You have, of course, weather modification, but also you have to remember cooling periods. Right now, Antarctica, the ice sheets have been record high. We've had record cold temperatures and snow in the northern hemisphere. And where do you think that moisture is going? It's going towards ice sheets. So just, you know, be ready. Study says amphibians disappearing at alarming rate. It's like the one of those X-Files episodes where the guys, like the scientists, like there's a frog holocaust being carried out. A new study has determined for the first time that just how quickly frogs and other amphibians are disappearing around the United States. So it says here they've been vanishing from places where they live at a rate of 3.7% a year. So it says here it puts them on path of disappearing from their inhabited sites nationwide in 20 years. The alarming news is that even species thought to be doing okay are declining, though at a slower rate of 2.7%. German brewers demand moratorium on fracking to protect purity of their beer. So the Association of German Breweries sent a letter this week to German Prime Minister demanding a moratorium on fracking until more research can be carried out to allay concerns of water contamination. We'll see, right? We'll see. Usually the government will be there to buffer it and protect the fracking companies. Portland again rejects fluoride in bitter vote, stays the biggest city in the U.S. without fluoridation. I like how they did this. It says the good voters of Portland have once again rejected plans to add fluoride to their water to combat tooth decay. Oh, so they're for tooth decay, right? Opponents say, I don't want chemicals in my water. I know that there are really no known health risks with it, but there's a lot of things we find out later in life that really do have health risks. Well, they do. Scientists have been studying this and know it kills brain cells and among other things. IQs attacks your kidneys and liver. EPA reverses itself on fluoride. They used to say community water fluoridation is an equitable, cost-effective, and cost-saving method of delivering poison to most people. Last month, the EPA announced it intends to lower the maximum amount of fluoride in drinking water because of growing evidence supporting the chemical's possible deleterious effects to children's health. EU imposes 2-year ban on pesticides believed responsible for mass bee death. Thank you.